Today, we're here with Father Dajad Davidian. He's a priest of the Armenian Church Eastern Diocese, and since his retirement for about the last 14 years, he has been in Armenia serving there spiritually in a pastoral way. So, Father Dajad, share with us now some of your thoughts.
Well, basically, I really conceive of life as being a process that starts from the moment of our conception and continues beyond our death. I believe that that process does not end. In fact, I even believe that God himself is really process, constant movement, life, growth. Uh, Many people consider Darwin's theory of evolution to be a proof against the existence of God. For me, evolution is a proof of the existence of God. That as the species adapt, so we ourselves have to adapt in our lives, and God assists us in that adaptation. And all along this process of life, we are faced with moments, turning points. We get signposts, we have epiphanies, sometimes a word from a person, sometimes an event in nature, sometimes crises, tragedies, joyous events, and our lives change. In this process, there are two fundamental aspects. We're either growing or we're declining. And God is growth. God is that personal growth, a growth that comes about not only because of what God gives us, which we call grace, but also what we receive from other people, our relationships. Remember that the most basic commandments are to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. And the second, Jesus said, is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. However, Jesus modified that second command. He said, love each other as I have loved you. And that love is a sacrificial love. Sacrifice is a very important part of the process. If we're going to grow, we have to learn to sacrifice. Jesus said, he who loves his life will lose it, but he who is willing to give up his life will gain it for what? For eternity. He said that a parable that we read at all of the Requiem service. He says that unless a grain of wheat is cast into the ground and buried and dies, it will bear no fruit. So the same thing in the process of our life. We have to learn to be willing to give up ourselves. He who loves his life will lose it, Jesus said. But he who is willing to give up his life, sacrifice, will gain it for eternity. So life is that process. And so long as we are in that process and we are growing, we need not fear anything. Even when death comes, death is not the end, because the process continues, as with the seed that Jesus mentioned in the parable. But once we stop growing, then we start to die. Then we decline. Then we retreat into ourselves. In the process of growth, we end up with all those we have loved, with those who have gone on before us, with those who have been our companions, whether our parents, our spouses, our children, our friends. But when we decline, we are by ourselves. And that's what I think hell is, being totally alone.
Dear Dajad, thank you very much.
God bless you.
And we'll hear from you again sometime, right?
Perhaps.
We'll do this again.